welcome to The Explainer. So today, from our Barefoot morning letter, we're tackling a really big question. What if Alzheimer's, a disease we've all been told is incurable, just isn't? We're going to look at some science and some pretty incredible stories that might just challenge everything you thought you knew.
Okay, let's dive right in. And we have to start with this absolutely heart-wrenching story. When the novelist Amy Bloom's husband was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, he made the difficult choice to end his own life. Her words, they just perfectly capture that deep, profound sense of loss and the sheer desperation so many families feel when they get this diagnosis.
You know, a story like that, it really forces you to ask a tough question. When we label a disease as incurable, is our only option just to endure it? To just wait it out? Or could there be another way of looking at this whole problem?
So what's actually going on inside the brain with Alzheimer's? Well, the way medical science explains it is as this slow, creeping decline. Think of it like lights going out one by one. The brain cells, they just gradually lose their ability to function, and that's what leads to the loss of memory, thinking skills, and eventually, even the most basic tasks.
Now here's where it gets really interesting. There's a simple but really powerful way to think about this. Picture your brain cells like a little houseplant, right? If you stop giving it water, what happens? It withers, it dries up, it dies. The theory we're talking about today suggests something very similar is happening in the brain when those cells are starved of good, healthy blood flow. They just can't get what they need to survive.
So the big question is, what's causing that poor blood flow in the first place? Well, this idea suggests it's our modern lifestyle, specifically our shoes. The theory is that shoes disconnect us from the Earth's natural energy. And that disconnect, it actually makes our blood thicker, more sticky. And that sticky blood has a really hard time squeezing through the brain's tiniest blood vessels. But when you're grounded, barefoot, you reconnect to that energy, and the blood is said to thin out and start flowing smoothly again.
And look, this isn't just some wild idea. There's actually research on this. A 2013 study from Dr. Chevalier and Dr. Sinatra found that grounding the human body can speed up blood flow by an average of 2.68 times. That is a huge difference. It really shows you the potential here. If you can get the blood flowing freely again, maybe, just maybe, you can get the brain functioning again too.
Okay, so the science sounds promising, but does this theory actually work out in the real world? Does it lead to actual cures? Let's get into the stories because this is where things get truly incredible. So let me tell you about this one case. It's about a 90-year-old mother in Korea who is dealing with aggressive dementia. Her son had her start barefoot walking on a dirt path, twice a day, every single day. And after only 6 months, the change was just astonishing. Her dementia, her memory problems, they were reportedly cured. She was even able to stop taking all of her medication.
And get this, it's not just an isolated case, and it's not just Alzheimer's. There are these other incredible stories about people with Parkinson's, which is another neurodegenerative disease. One man, who had Parkinson's for over a decade, was suddenly able to walk without his cane. Another, a hospital director, who was in a wheelchair, was able to go back to living a normal life. I mean, these stories are just remarkable.
I know, these stories are really compelling. So you might be wondering, okay, how could I try this for myself? Well, let's talk about how you can safely take your own first steps.
The great news is that getting started is super simple. But look, safety first, always. You'll want to find a safe, natural spot. Think a dirt path, a grassy park, or even a sandy beach. Start off with short, easy walks. Let your feet get used to it. And one really important precaution, it's a very good idea to have a quick chat with your doctor to make sure your tetanus vaccination is up to date. Now this next part is absolutely crucial. It's maybe the most important takeaway from all these success stories. I'm talking about consistency. For barefoot walking to be effective, it isn't a once-in-a-while kind of thing. It's a daily practice, every single day. That seems to be the real key to unlocking its potential. And of course, you gotta take care of your feet. After every single walk, give them a good, thorough wash. This is especially important in the winter, The cold air can really dry out your skin. So after you wash up, be generous with the moisturizer. It'll keep your heels from getting all dry and cracked. Trust me, they'll thank you for it.
So, if you're thinking about starting this journey, the best part is that you don't have to do it alone. There is a huge and growing movement that you can connect with.
If you want to share what you're learning, ask questions, or just get some support, you can join the Barefoot Walking National Movement Headquarters over on Neighbor Cafe. It's a great community where you can find all sorts of information and connect with people on the exact same path. So we'll end with this one last thought to leave you with. In our world of high-tech medicine and complicated drugs, could it be? Could the most powerful cure we've been searching for be something as simple as the connection between our own 2 feet and the Earth? It's a really powerful question, and I hope you'll feel inspired to explore it for yourself.
Hey, if you found this explainer helpful, it would mean the world to us if you'd support what we do. You know the drill. Go ahead and subscribe, hit that like button, and turn on your notifications. Your support is what allows us to keep making more explainers like this one. Thanks so much for watching.